Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating mathematical idea called Terry Munasaba, which basically translates to relational coherence theory. It's all about this secret harmony hidden inside numbers, and trust me, by the end of this, you're going to see it too. So, right off the bat, what's the connection here? I mean, look at this. We start at 1, jump over to 7, then to 1729, then all the way up to this massive number, 777,777, and then somehow we land right back at 1. It looks completely random, doesn't it? Well, there's a hidden logic at play, and we're about to find it. To really get what's going on, we have to think of it like cracking a code, like learning a secret language. So let's start hunting for some clues. Now, the whole idea behind Theory Munasaba is that numbers aren't just these lonely, isolated islands. Nope. They're all part of this huge, connected, harmonious system. We just have to figure out where the bridges are. Okay, our very first clue is all about repetition. It sounds simple, I know, but you'll see just how powerful it is in the system. So this first clue leads us to something called a rep digit. That's just a number made up of the same digit repeating over and over. And you know that giant number from our sequence, 777,777? Well, that's a perfect example, and that is definitely not a coincidence. So when we actually break this number down, we can see it's really just 7 times 111,111. But what's even more important are its prime factors. Look at that, 3, 7, 11, 13, and 37. These right here, these are the keys to the whole thing. These prime factors, they're kind of like secret handshakes between the numbers. That factor 7, that's the handshake that connects 777,777 to 49, which is just 7 squared, and to 77, which is 7 times 11, and even to 91, which is 7 times 13. All of a sudden, these random numbers are starting to connect. All right, that was clue number 1. Now for our second clue, which involves what you might call social numbers. These are numbers that have really special properties that define how they interact with all the others. So first up is what's known as a sphenic number. This is just a number that's the product of 3, and this is important, distinct prime numbers. Keep that in mind. And next we have the Harshad number. You can think of this as a generous number because it's actually divisible by the sum of its own digits. It's a simple little property, but it creates some incredibly powerful connections. And these two properties bring us to a real celebrity in the number world, 1729. It's also known as the Hardy-Ramanujan number, and believe me, it is a central piece in our puzzle. So why is 1729 such a superstar? Well, it's got two faces. It's sphenic. It's the product of 3 different primes, 7, 13, and 19. And it's also a Harshad number. If you add up its digits, you get 19. And guess what? 1729 divided by 19 is exactly 91. You see, it's an amazing connector. Okay, we've got our clues, we've got our key players. It is time for the grand unveiling. Let's put all of this together. So this is it. This is munasaba, or relational coherence. It's the idea that a set of numbers is coherent if all its members are linked together through things like repetition, their prime factors, and these shared special properties. So we saw the prime factor link, right? The number 7 connects to 49 because it's its square, and it connects to 77 because of the shared factor 11. Simple enough. And then we saw that Harshad link, where 1729 connects directly to 91, just because it's divisible by the sum of its own digits. See? The puzzle is really coming together now. The connections are getting pretty clear, but there's still one big question. How does the system form a loop? What makes it all cycle perfectly back to 1? What creates that perfect closure? And the final key to this whole mystery is something called the digital root. It's a way to boil any number down to its single-digit essence, and it's exactly how we're going to explain the loop. Now, finding the digital root is super simple. You just sum a number's digits over and over again until you're left with a single digit. So for 49, you do 4 plus 9, that's 13. That's not a single digit, so you do it again. 1 plus 3 equals 4. The digital root is 4. Easy. Now watch what happens when we do this with our key numbers. The digital root of 19 is 1. For 91, it's 1. For 1729, you guessed it, it's also 1. They all lead right back to the start. And other numbers, like 49, its digital root is 4, which is another number in our system. This is the loop. It's the numbers folding back onto themselves.
creating this perfectly closed, totally coherent system.
So, okay, we've solved the puzzle. But you might be asking, why does this even matter? Well, it turns out it's way more than just a mathematical party trick. The big takeaway here is that numbers have this deep, hidden structure. You can have really simple rules that create these incredibly complex, stable systems. And understanding these systems isn't just about appreciating the beauty of math. It has real-world potential in fields like cryptography and computer science, fields that really rely on hidden, predictable patterns. You know, it really brings to mind that amazing quote from Galileo. Theories like Munasaba, they're not just about calculations. They're about learning to read the language of the universe. It's about finding that elegant underlying order in what might otherwise just seem like total chaos. We've uncovered the secret harmony in just one small system today. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secret patterns, what other hidden languages are just waiting to be discovered in the numbers that are all around us every single day? Thanks for joining me.